Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are gonna begin chapter 25 today of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna Lives Govardhana. We finished yesterday 24. Krishna is saying he stopped the Indra Puja and then he told them how to do the Govardhan Puja. He himself took the form of Govardhan, and everyone was very happy after the sacrifice and they all went home. And now let's see what happens in this chapter 25. This chapter describes how Lord Indra was overcome by anger when the residents of Raj cancelled his sacrifice. How he tried to punish them by sending forth a devastating rainfall to Vrindavan, and how Lord Sri Krishna protected Gokul by lifting Govardhan hill and for 7 days using it as an umbrella to ward off the rain. Indra, angered at the disruption of the sacrifice meant for him, and falsely presuming himself the supreme controller, said, "People often give up the pursuit of transcendental knowledge, the means of self-realization, and imagine that they can cross over the ocean of material existence by mundane fruitive activities. Similarly, these cowherd men have become intoxicated by pride and have offended me by taking shelter of an ignorant, ordinary child, Krishna. To remove this supposed pride of the residents of Raj, Indra sent the clouds known as Samvartak, whose function is to facilitate the destruction of the world. He sent them to harass the Brajavasis with downpours of rain and hail. The cowherd community was very disturbed by this and approached Krishna for shelter. Understanding that this trouble was the work of Indra, Krishna decided to smash to pieces Indra's false prestige and thus lifted Govardhan hill with one hand. He then invited the entire cowherd community to take shelter in the dry space beneath the mountain. For 7 successive days he held up the hill until Indra finally understood Krishna's mystic power and ordered the clouds to withdraw. When the cowherd villagers emerged from beneath the mountain, Krishna put Govardhan hill back in its proper place. The cowherds were in ecstasy, showing loving symptoms such as flowing tears and bodily hairs standing on end. They embraced Krishna and offered him benedictions according to their respective positions, while the demigods in heaven rained down flowers and sang the Lord's praises. So we read what is about to unfold in this chapter. Shri Shukavacha. Hare Krishna.
Shishuka Uvacha
Indrastad Atmana Pujam
Injatadmana Pujacha. What?
Vigyaya Vihatam Nripa
Vidya Vihatam Rupam
Gopebhya Krishna Nathebhyo
Gopya Yaha Krishna Natyo
Nanda Adibhyas Chukopaha.
Natabhyas Chupachat.
Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sukadev Goswami said, "My dear King Parikshit, when Indra understood that his sacrifice had been put aside, he became furious with Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men who were accepting Krishna as their Lord." At the very beginning of this chapter, Shukadev Goswami reveals the foolishness of Indra and the absurdity of his anger. Indra was frustrated because the residents of Vrindavan accepted Sri Krishna as their Lord. But the simple fact is that Sri Krishna is the Lord, not only of the residents of Vrindavan, but of all that exists, including Indra himself. Thus, Indra's petulant reaction was ridiculous. As the common saying goes, pride goes before a fall. So, Sukadev Goswami is saying that Indra's angry. He's angry that Nanda Maharaj and the other Gopas, they are worshipping, they are listening to Krishna. Accepting Krishna as the Lord means they are understanding Krishna as supreme. Yeah, of course, their love is what is the most prominent. But in that love, then they listen to whatever Krishna says. Krishna says, don't do Indra Puja. They didn't do. So now he's upset. Ganam Samvartakam Nama
Gunasava Takam Nama
Meghanam Cha Antakarinam
Mekrana Chata Karinam
Indra Prachodayat Krudho
Ninja Pachajayo Proto
Vakyam Cha Aheshamani Uta.
Vakyancha Harsha Mayat Uttat
Angry Indra sent forth the clouds of universal destruction, known as Samvarta. Imagining himself the supreme controller, he spoke as follows. The word Ishamani here is very significant. Indra arrogantly considered himself to be the Lord, and thus he exhibited the typical attitude of a conditioned soul. Many thinkers in the 20th century have noted the exaggerated sense of individual prestige characteristic of our culture. Indeed, writers have even coined the phrase the me generation. Everyone in this world is more or less guilty of the syndrome called Ishaman, or proudly considering oneself the Lord. And we think we are the controllers. We think we are the Lord. And that's why we are here in the material world. Purport, of course, it's saying that it's more in this modern civilization. It's become more. Earlier, people would still understand, okay, God is there, God is greater than me. But now we see how society is moving. It's kind of more and more, uh, what do you say, all the propaganda around us. It makes us even more forget God, even more think that we are the controllers. Hoshi Madamahatmyam
Ohashimata Mahatyam
Gopanam Kanau Kasam
Gopana Pananu Panam Kacham
Krishnam Martyam Upashritya
Krishna Matyam Upashityam
Ye Chakrudeva Helanam.
Yechaku Devaharadam.
Indra said, just see how these cowherd men living in the forest have become so greatly intoxicated by their prosperity. They have surrendered to an ordinary human being, Krishna, and thus they have offended the gods. Of course, Indra was really saying that the cowherd men had offended him, Indra, by taking shelter of Krishna, whom Indra considered to be a martya, a mortal. This was certainly a gross miscalculation on Indra's part. So Indra is not able to understand that the small boy Krishna is actually God himself, is the absolute truth himself. He's thinking he's a small ordinary boy, small ordinary human being. Like how even Lord Brahma, he couldn't understand that this small boy is God himself. Here Indra is also not able to understand. So he's like, hey, why are they stopping my puja? They have become intoxicated by their prosperity. That now that they've become so rich, now they become proud that they don't need me anymore. Now they have enough of everything, so they become proud. So we can see also in one way to see that Indra is thinking that Nanda Maharaj is proud, whereas actually pride, Indra has become proud, right? That I am the controller, I am the one who's making people prosperous. So he's become proud, but he's finding fault in Nanda Maharaj, that Nanda Maharaj is proud and that the cowherd men have become proud. It's something to see, yeah? Usually they say, right, that when we see faults in others, usually that fault somehow, if we try to find in ourselves, it's usually that's what it is. That the fault that becomes so like glaring in our face and that troubles us of others is most likely coming from us. Comments? Questions?
Yeah, like when they say, when you find faults in others, but actually the faults are all in you only.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like how we say when you're pointing a finger, the other fingers are pointing at you, right?
Yeah.
So like the faults are there in us. That's why we are able to see faults in others, right?
Yeah. It's the same fault. Like here, Indra is thinking that Nanda Maharaj is proud, but he is actually proud. So
Yeah.
pride is the fault that
Mhm.
Indra is finding, but instead of finding it in himself, he's thinking it's Nanda Maharaj.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's one way we can check ourselves, when we feel, oh, this one is faulty of something. And
Mm.
if we do a little bit of introspection, we may find it in ourselves,
Yes. Yeah.
most likely.
Perfect.
Mm. Yatha drade karma maye
Yetta Kramamaya
kratubhir nama no nibhe
Pradupi Nama No Nigrahe
vidyam ani vikshikim hitva
Vidyang Ari Kritvam
itir bhavar navam.
Vitirashanti Bhavanava
Their taking shelter of Krishna is just like the foolish attempt of men who abandon transcendental knowledge of the self and instead try to cross over the great ocean of material existence in the false boats of fruitive rituals, sacrifices. So Indra is saying that, oh, the cowherd community, now they stop giving me sacrifice, which is actually for their benefit. So they are behaving like some people who are thinking that they can get liberation or self realization by doing some kind of karma or doing some kind of ritualistic sacrifices. That by doing that, they are people who are giving up the real process of self realization and just taking up some material thing. So you say, oh, the cowherds have become like that, that actually they can get prosperity if they worship me, but now they're just thinking, listening to this small boy. So they are so foolish. Vachalam
So Shilpa
balisham.
ji, just one
Mm,
question. So that means that he was thinking that what they were doing for him was the proper thing to be done. And that would have given them, you know, across the ocean.
prosperity.
Yeah, prosperity, and they would have gone across, right?
No, no,
No,
no.
no.
Prosperity.
Just
Prosperity.
prosperity.
Yeah. They are saying they have become foolish, like
Mhm.
somebody becomes foolish that instead of doing proper things for self-realization, they're thinking they're going to get self-realization by doing some karma, kand,
Oh, okay. He's comparing it with that.
comparing.
Okay. He's
Yeah.
comparing. Okay.
Yeah. So he's saying that, oh, these people are
Hmm.
thinking that they can remain prosperous
Hmm.
by not by worshipping me. They're
Me.
giving up my
Okay.
worship and instead they're
Okay.
worshipping Krishna.
Okay. Perfect. Instead, yeah. Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Mm.
Yeah.
Vachalam balisham stabdam.
Vachalam Vasham Tabaham
Agyam panditamaninam.
Akyam Panita Maninam
Krishnam martyam upashritya.
Krishna Matyam Upashetya
Gopa me chakrur apriyam.
Gopa Me Charu Apriyam.
These cowherd men have acted inimically toward me by taking shelter of this ordinary human being, Krishna, who thinks himself very wise, but who is simply a foolish, arrogant, over-talkative child. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, through the insults of Indra, Goddess Saraswati is actually praising Krishna. The Acharya explains Vachalam means one who can speak according to Vedic authority. So here Indra is saying that, oh, by worshipping Krishna, by listening to Krishna, they have, you know, they become my enemies. Well, they've acted inimically toward me. So they're worshipping him and they have offended me. And now he's saying, oh, Krishna thinks he's very wise, but he's actually so foolish, so arrogant, and just over talkative child. So then Sridhar Swami is also explaining how we can see that he's actually praising Krishna. But also we can see that Indra's finding fault in Krishna, that Krishna, you think you are wise, I'm actually wise. But who is being foolish here? Indra is actually being foolish. Indra is thinking Krishna is foolish, but actually Indra is foolish. He's thinking Krishna is arrogant, whereas actually he himself is arrogant, right? So, but then now Sridhar Swami is saying that how, by these insults, we can see that how he's actually praising Krishna. Vachala means one who can speak according to Vedic authority. So, Krishna is speaking on Vedas. Balisha means free from pretension, just like a child. Stabdam means that he bows down to no one because there is no one for him to offer homage to. So Balisham, when he's saying, so it means without any pretense, without any duplicity, without any pretending. Stabdam means he doesn't need to bow down to anyone because he's the greatest. Agyam means there's nothing more for him to know because he's omniscient. Right? Krishna, he knows everything. There's nothing else for him to know. Pandita Manina means that he's highly honored by the knowers of the absolute truth. And Krishna means he is the supreme absolute truth whose transcendental form is full of eternity and ecstasy. Martyam means that although he is the absolute truth, he never appears in this world as a human being out of affection. He nevertheless appears in this world as a human being out of affection for his devotees. So Indra actually wants to criticize Krishna, but the words he's using can be also used to praise Krishna in this way. Is that okay?
So these words, Vachalam, everything, Indra is used in
Yeah,
the
see. Vachalam, Balisham, Stabdam, Agyam, Panditamaninam, Krishnam, Martyam, all these. Right? So Vachalam means one who actually speaks according to Vedic authority. But he was simply saying that he's over talkative, he's talking too much. But it actually means also that who can speak from
Vedic,
Vedas.
right?
So how these specific words which he has used can also mean to praise Krishna. And he doesn't need to bow down in front of anyone. He's a child, Balisham is a child, so it means he doesn't have any duplicity, he's not pretending. Agyam, not that he is foolish, but that he is nothing for him to know, nothing more for him to know because he knows everything. Pandita Manina means he is highly honored by knowers of absolute truth. Because he was meaning to say, okay, let's do this, then you know. Fine. 5, right? Yeah. So Vachalam, he was meaning to say over talkative, but Sridhar Swami is saying can mean speaking from the scriptures. Balisham, Indra is saying he's just a child, but means no pretension. Stabdam, he means to say arrogant, Indra, but actually it can mean that he has no one else to bow down to. He's the Supreme Lord. Agyam, Indra is saying foolish, but Agyam can mean to say that he knows everything. There's nothing else for him to know. Pandita Maninam, thinking himself very wise, that his thinking is very wise. But it means that actually those who understand uh, the absolute truth, they honor him. They honoring him. And Krishna himself, Martyam, human being. Indra is trying to say that he is a human being, but actually Sridhar Swami is saying, oh, it means that he doesn't need to come here, but he still comes to this material world because he's to be with his devotees, affection of his devotees. Krishna, of course, here Indra is just saying Krishna because that's his name. But Krishna is the absolute truth, right? Supremely attractive. His form is Satchidananda. So how these words are actually being praised in praise of Krishna.
Yeah.
Indra wanted to rebuke Krishna as Vachalam because the Lord had presented many audacious arguments in the line of Karma Mimamsa and Sankhya philosophy, even though he did not accept these arguments. Thus Indra called the Lord Balisha, foolish. So why is he saying speaks too much? Because he gave so much of these philosophies, right? Karma Mimamsa, Sankhya. He spoke all these philosophies. Then why foolish? first that he's speaking all this, but he himself is not believing it. So then it's foolish. So Indra called him Stabda because he had spoken boldly even in the presence of his own father. Why he called him arrogant? Because he was speaking like that to his father. Why you're doing this Indra Puja? It's just a ritual or what? In fact, do what I'm telling you to do. Thus, although Indra attempted to criticize Sri Krishna, the Lord's transcendental character is in fact impeccable. And this chapter will demonstrate how Indra came to recognize the position of the Lord. So, of course, we know that, Krishna has become too proud and too arrogant. In fact, Indra has become too proud and arrogant. And it is Indra who is gonna realize actually what happens. Is that okay?
Yes, only I'm wondering, see, when Krishna came 5,000 years, right, when came to Mother Devaki, of course, not born, but yeah, he appeared, the baby, and that time the demigods and all were showering flowers, right, and
Mm-hmm.
praising
Mm-hmm.
right? So then how is it that now, like Lord Brahma or Lord Indra didn't recognize that this is
Right.
Krishna, like same.
Yeah.
So
So we can see how this illusion of the material world works, right? Because these demigods have great power. They're doing great things in the universe. And then sometimes they may forget that it's Krishna who's giving them everything. And then they start thinking it is me.
mm,
And that's how the nature of this material world is.
the demigods also, huh?
Yeah.
They
See, like Lord Brahma also, he didn't know anything first, there was all darkness. Then he did so much tapasya. Then Krishna spoke to him the Vedas. That's how he knows. And he spoke such beautiful prayers.
Yeah.
Govinda Vadi Purusham. But then in the course of doing the duty, then sometimes they may forget. And then that's how the Brahma Vimohan Leela happens. So
Mm.
it's better to take up pure devotional service, Then in pure devotional service, then there is no such a risk, right? That's how they say, right? Even if you become a demigod, demigods are all devotees of Krishna. But then we may get distracted with so much power, so much control.
So the demigods can get distracted. So what to say of the ordinary?
Of us, right? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, what to speak of us? They are such highly qualified personalities,
Yeah.
they're devotees, and then what to speak of
They
us?
get the
Yeah.
illusion that about us.
So
They get it. Or is it all
that's why
this
we need.
Leela also?
I'm sorry,
Krishna's Leela. Is this also like
Krishna's.
Krishna Leela? Like
Yeah,
he wanted this to happen so that the others,
Krish-
right, learn from it. Something.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we may say, okay, I want to become the king of heaven. I want to rule the heavens. I'll be a devotee, but yeah, I will also rule the heavens. One may have that desire. But then one can see that even if one becomes Lord Indra, then how one can become so proud and in fact offend Krishna. And also we have seen in Bhagavatam how each time Indra is always so worried of the different demons taking up his throne. So through these examples, yeah, Krishna is teaching us. So taking shelter of pure devotees, that is what we need to do. Take shelter of the devotees and then cultivate pure devotional service. Is that okay?
Yes.
Mm. Okay, thank you all so much for listening and joining. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.